All right. All right, so welcome to today's session of Design Nuances Edu Series, where the objective is to learn a new topic specific to design, architecture, or fashion, get introduced to a new school, and understand their perspective, and interact with an expert and absorb the knowledge that they have to share. We're going to do this. So today's topic is a very, very interesting topic, very critical topic. And this is good for anyone, whether you're a parent or a student, this is good for anyone. It's called storyboarding. All right. Storyboarding. And it's hosted by UID. Now, UID, I've written Ahmedabad here, but they have an NCR campus as well. But we'll come down to that. So we have today Professor Prem Gunjan. He's a passionate educator with 7 years of experience in teaching, conducting workshops and seminars pan-India. He's got a master's in film and video communication from the National Institute of Design, NID, and he enjoys traveling, watching, and making documentaries. Yeah. So for those of you who are in the 2023 batch, if y'all would like to apply to UID at the end of this, you can click on DQ Edge. You'll reach the DQ Edge page, and there's the application link over there. So you can apply there. But if y'all are from the 2024 batch, y'all can just click on Inquire here, and then your details will be shared with UID, and probably next year they'll connect with you. Okay, so let's get back to this topic of storyboarding. Now, before we get into this topic, we have Gopal Krishnan, who's going to tell us a little bit about UID. He's going to keep it as brief as possible. So, Gopal, looking forward to hearing about you.
Thank you so much, Dion sir. And first of all, thank you for presenting us with this opportunity to interact with your lovely lot of students that you have. Right. So yeah, I'll keep it as brief as possible. So I'll begin with the screen share now. I'll walk them through with the PPT that I have about UID. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it's visible.
Oh,
go on.
Yeah. So yeah, so UID students stand for United World.
1 second, Gopal, can you put it on presentation mode, please?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're, yeah, now I can see.
Now it's okay. So yeah, UID stands for United World Institute of Design. And as we know, UID, as Dion sir has already mentioned, apart from Ahmedabad campus, we have an extended wing of campus in NCR as well. So NCR Delhi specifically. So I'll walk you through this now. So about UID, UID has basically it's more than, I'm talking about Ahmedabad campus firstly. So it's spread across more than 40 acres, and it's a lush green campus which hosts more than 20 workshop labs catering to all the disciplines that we have at UID. Okay, and talking about the degree program, so first we have Bachelor's in Design, which is a UG program. So the disciplines that we offer are product design, fashion design, communication design, which is graphics, animation, and digital media. Then we have automobile and transportation. So similarly, we have 7 different disciplines. So we had defense design previously, but now we have pulled it out due to certain unavoidable reasons. So yeah, so this is about the UG program. So this is the name of the course, Bachelor's of Design. And the second course that we are going to talk about is Bachelor's of Design Global Design Program. It's a unique program in itself. So here, those students who are willing to also explore the market abroad or in the foreign countries, in the design capitals like Australia, Italy, and United Kingdom. So you have a lovely opportunity to pursue this course. So in this stretch of 4 years, what will happen is third semester, you will be flying down to Australia to pursue your entire semester from Swinburne University. Fifth semester, similarly, you'll be traveling to Italy to pursue your semester from NABA in Milan. And lastly, the seventh semester, you will be pursuing it from Nottingham Trent University, United Kingdom. So this course is for the students who want to have different diverse perspectives about design. So not only it is important to understand the domestic and the national market that we have here in India, but also the foreign consumer behavior, the consumer patterns, the buying patterns and everything. You need to understand that also. So for them, this is the apt course. Moving ahead, so PG. So in PG, we have M.Des, which is again a 2 years full-time degree course comprising of 4 semesters of 6 months duration. And the disciplines that we offer here in the PG program is industrial design, fashion design, visual experiential design, and interior and experience design. Yeah, coming to the examination pattern of UID, the eligibility pattern is very simple. So all you need to do is you need to have a 50% aggregate score from any recognized higher secondary school board. It can be ICSE, CBSE, state board, international board, right? And for M design, again, you need to be a graduate. So that can be 10 plus 2 plus 3 or 4, or you may be appearing also with a minimum 50% aggregate score from any recognized institution or university. Yeah. So this is the first part of the eligibility criteria. Coming to the second part. So the second part is basically divided into 2 tiers. The first tier is known as design aptitude test. The date for design aptitude test in 2023 has already been announced. It's going to be conducted on 29th of January, and the mode will be online. So we are going to do it online. So design aptitude test is basically the testing of your general IQ, analytical test, creative ability test. So here you might have questions from, let's say, various sketching part that is definitely going to be there. And apart from that, you might have to identify a few logos or draw a few logos of important brands. So these are the some of questions that you can expect. And if you want to check on this, you can always visit DQH, and you'll get the patent papers also, sample papers also over there about UID. Yeah. And the tier 2, for this, you need to walk down to our campus. So when I say walk down to our campus, it can be any of the campus that you have chosen. Since we have 2 campus, let's say you have opted for Ahmedabad campus. So you'll have to come to Ahmedabad campus to pursue the second tier, that is situation test and portfolio evaluation. So situation test is nothing but where you will be given a certain brief and set of materials. Using those materials, you need to create a 3D model. So that's the basic test on the situation test. And the last is portfolio evaluation. So portfolio evaluation is basically it will be a short interview based entirely on your portfolio that you will be bringing together. It can be a digital portfolio, it can be a hardbound portfolio. It's totally up to you. Yeah. As I've already mentioned, these are the two campuses that we have, Gandhinagar and NCR. So placement, you can see the salary packages. The average package that we offer is between 9 to 12 lakhs. And the partial list of companies is already there on the bottom right of your screen. You can see IBM, Microsoft, Accenture, Capgemini. So you name it, we have it. Extremely sorry. Yeah. So when I talk about Microsoft, they pulled in like 7 students from our campus for UI UX specifically and offered them 16 lakhs annual package. Right. So similarly, we have host of other companies. This is just a partial list, guys. You need to understand this. So we cannot put in all the names of the brands in one place. So that is why we have just pulled in some partial list. That's the end of it. Yeah. So I'm there throughout the session. If at any point towards the end of the session, you still have any doubts or queries or you want to know, I'll be there.
All right. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Gopal. Prem, looking forward to having this interaction with you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Okay. I really wanted to have an interactive session, but okay, it's completely fine, sir. In this case, I'm just going to the talk. Okay. So at the end, if you have any doubts, please do ask questions. Okay. So I'll share my screen. So before we start storyboarding, I think we should also know and understand where the storyboarding is starting. And most important thing is like why we do storyboarding at all. Um, with this today's presentation, primarily focusing on the professional way of storyboarding, where we actually use in making film, especially animation films, feature film. Okay, and as Dion said that the application of storyboarding doesn't just go to filmmaking, but also it goes to other design field. For example, if you are talking about fashion, if you are talking about UX and UI, per se, or if you're talking about product design as such. Okay, so and why it's so, because some way the other, if you look at it, storyboard is a visualization tool, and some way the other it helps you to visualize and put the communication forward. Okay, so whatever you want to say something in any medium. Okay, now I think in today's time communication mediums has become more versatile. Okay, and initially if you see, it's a part of just a visual communication where we had certain medium through which we used to communicate. Okay, mass communication, for example, you'll say newspaper, uh, television, radio, and so on. But in today's time, if you see, the interactivity has gone beyond this so-called mass media. Okay, now if you look at it, today's products have become more interactive. So in today's time, use of artificial intelligence, AI, okay, and the products that we are using becoming more um, intelligent. If you look at it initially, if you term the machine, when you using these machines, okay, they were just following the instructions. And this is a biggest change there, where machine can take the decisions. You don't have to instruct. For example, if you look at it, today's fridge, or today's AC, we used to control them and give instructions. Okay, this is should be the temperature, or this should, is going to switch off and switch on. But in today's time, this has become more independent of the instructions that we are going to give. Okay, so basically they take decisions based on need and requirement based on the sensors that they have. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, one second, Prem. Are you sharing your
No, no,
screen?
no.
Or?
I've not
Oh,
yet
okay.
started.
Okay.
Okay. So now at this point of time, in this drastic change that what we are going through, okay, and when we are saying that even the product, and I think the most important also is the garment are becoming more smart. Now, if you see innovations in garment, and especially with the technology of making fabric, people are coming out with smart fabric. Okay, so they are becoming interactive, so you don't have to actually access your phone with just a slight touch on your garment. Okay, maybe the color, you can take the phone call, or you can take picture, or you can save any data that you are seeing through the camera. Now, this interactivity, the communication, okay, some way the other is well visualized in the form of storyboard, okay, and especially if you are creating this the whole system of interactivity. This is one, and also some way the other, the way of storyboard, the how is been used is also some way the other. It's used in visualization in design thinking process. Okay, so there is a very wide perspective in terms of the utility of the storyboard. Okay, today I'm going to primarily just going to talk about the storyboard used in filmmaking. So I'm just sharing the screen. Just a minute. Okay, everyone can see the screen now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So, in the film, when we look at the film, and if you see on the screen, okay, the story is written in some unique pattern. Okay, so you could see that exterior city, interior, and so on, and you could see some of the dialogues here. Okay, so when we make film, and we might not have gone to this kind of format. Okay, so we read story that we have seen in the books. Okay, they have written in a particular conventional format. Okay, so if you look at this, it's the same story that what you see in the film, in the books. Okay, now I have chosen one of the very famous film is called Avatar. This is the script of this Avatar. Okay, so here if you look at this format, so definitely there could be a book written on the Avatar, the story book or novel on the Avatar, and you are aware, definitely you know how the book looks. Now, is the same story written in a book, but in when we translate in the film, the story needs to be transferred into a format called script. This, if you look at this, okay, um, I'm just briefly telling what the structure of the script is. There are three parts of the script. The first part is says defining the time and the space. Okay. Now, if you see when you are saying ext talks about exterior, int talks about interior. So when I'm saying exterior, this is the location, interior and exterior. Okay, so all the shots either will be going to happen inside our room or is going to happen outside our room. Yeah, that's the idea of interior and exterior. Why it's important? uh, because when we are shooting, so whatever the light conditions that we have, okay, it's a completely different, so interior light conditions will be different and exterior light conditions will be different. The second aspect is talk about the place where, even if you are saying exterior outside, where outside, so it's saying city. Okay, here if you look at it interior, and they are saying Jake's apartment. That means it's the Jake's apartment. This is the location interior. Okay, the third aspect is says night. Okay, is the time. So this in the storyboard, if you see the sections always starts with these three critical information that talks about location, okay, place, and the time. Okay. And if you see all the entire script, you will see this pattern being followed. Okay. Always exterior, exterior, interior. Okay. And the place and the time. Here it's saying, if you look at it, the time, it's saying night. Okay. Night. Again, same reason why night. Definitely that talks about the condition, light conditions that we are shooting in or the film, the set in. Okay. Then another thing that this the description. So we write about the description, what's happening. Okay. And always if there is some dialogue, okay, so we write it in the center. So again, this is the voiceover. Again, we have description and change, So this becomes the, for example, this is voiceover. Again, voiceover is going on jet voiceover. Okay. So this is the opening shot. Okay. So voiceover, so it says that we are flying through the mist. Okay, we are very low over in the forest now, gliding fast, the drums building up to the peak. Then we hear the sound of voiceover. Sooner or later, through you always have to wake up. Then we see in the night a screen of brakes of a vehicle by frame, revealing jack. Okay, so this is how the whole filmmaking starts. So when we start film, either feature film or animation film, first what we do, we write the script. This is the format of script. Okay, a script has a three format. One, I the detail about the exterior, interior, location, and timing, what the description is, and what the dialogue are. Okay. So this is the in general structure of the script, and this is the very first thing that we start with. You know? So if you want to make a film, then you need to have a script. Okay, I'm showing. Acha, can you see the YouTube?
You always have to wake up.
Yes, sir. The sound is also audible.
Sooner or later, though, you always have to wake up. In cryo, you don't dream at all. Doesn't feel like 6 years. More like a fifth of tequila and an ass kicking. Tommy was the scientist, not me. He was the one who wanted to get shot light years out in space to find the answers.
Are we there yet? Yeah, we're there, sunshine. We're there.
It's about your brother.
So a week before Tommy's gonna ship out, a guy with a gun ends his journey for the paper in his wallet.
You've been in cryo for 5 years, 9 months, and 22 days. You will be hungry. You will be weak. If you feel nausea, please use the sap.
Yeah, Tommy was the scientist. Me, I'm just another dumb grunt going someplace he's gonna regret. Up ahead was Pandora. You grew up hearing about it, but I never figured I'd be going there.
Your brother represented a significant investment. We'd like to talk to you about taking over his contract.
And since you're
So you are on mute.
Sorry. See, so whatever we see, no, now it's written in the script, okay? Sooner or later and through your eyes, okay? So these all are text. And when we look at film, see the kind of imaginaries that being used, okay? Now, how do we translate this text into these amazing images? Okay, so immediately after once our script is ready, we start storyboarding. Okay, so storyboarding is the visualization of these texts. Okay, the visual representation of whatever story that you have in the text format. Either you have direct story or you have a script in your hand. Okay. Now, what is storyboard? I'll again reshare. You can see the screen now. Yes, sir. You can see the screen.
Sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what I said, that storyboarding is a tool to visualize. So if you are making a film, definitely you need to have a story. I said that story won't work. Definitely you have to transfer a story into a script. Script has a format. Okay. Now a story has to be written in that format, because that's how it's going to help you to segregate scene and shots. What are the shots are in the interior? What are the shots are in the exterior? Okay. What is the light conditions? Okay. These are very important decisions when you are actually visualizing the film in visual form. Okay. So that's how it says reading the script is important. There's a very close association with storyboarding, how you do that. Okay, so you'll understand once you go through this. Now storyboarding is nothing but is a visual representation of shot by shot visual representation of the video that the film that you are making. Okay, so each shot is representing the square frame. Okay, you make storyboard either through drawing, or you can also use photographs. It's completely whoever is using it, you know. It can be a traditional method, or you can use new softwares and apps that will help you to make storyboard. Okay, so storyboard is nothing but is a sequel, okay, a sequence of image representing what happening in the visual narrative, always defined in a frame. Okay, and we can't just make a storyboard in a loose papers in a sequence. We always define in frames, and not just the frames, it's become a sequence of frame. Okay, so definitely it looks like a comic book that we have been uh, seen. Okay, it's very much similar to the comic book, but it's not exactly the comic book. Okay, you can see here the this storyboard comes from a movie called Up. Can you recognize this, which sequence that is falls in? So see, so what if you look at here, the sequence of images, and you could see the action happening in the sequence, what's happening. Okay, now this is for definitely it's for the animation film. So definitely that's defining the action is happening in this brief sequence. Okay. Again, now this is done in a traditional hand-drawn method, but again, style is not fixed. You can do storyboarding in your own style. Now this has been done digitally. Okay, this storyboard board is done for Toy Story. Now look at the sequences. Okay, now so when we draw storyboard, you know, what does it actually shows? So definitely in the storyboard we capture character, we capture the background. Okay, and most important aspect why you make storyboard as push for film is talks about the camera. It talks about the camera move. Okay, so look at the first storyboard that is coming from Jurassic Park. Okay, and I added this that shows the detail of things. For example, what is the camera and the, you know, what action, you know, the movement of the camera movement is happening. Okay, so you could actually visualize the detail that you could see in that sequence. Okay, the second one is from the Star Wars. Okay, again look at the richness of the detail that has been shown in a sequence. Okay, so the opening shot, what happening, and then what happening. Okay, and you could see the character, and you can see what the character is doing at that point of time, and you can also see the scale. Okay, so uh, so when we trying to draw in a frame, so basically is actually capturing the scenario, action, the character is talking about the what's the camera angle, is talking about the background details in the background. Okay, these are the most detailed uh, storyboards. Okay, now you don't need to have a storyboard to be such a detail. Okay, even a simple drawing, could actually lead to the sequence of actions that you want to show in the picture. Look at, and this is one of the very famous film, but look at the drawing, artistic, but it's very simple. You don't have too much of information. Okay, but yet it's talking about character. You could see the understand the what the background is there, and what's happening in each frame. Okay, and what is the sequence of action that you are actually visualizing in the film. Okay, so these are very drawn, illustrated with great detail. It's capturing all information. This is just giving a very simple drawing, but still giving the idea of the character, the movement, okay, and the background. Okay, so so definitely I said that when we make storyboards, so storyboard need to talk about what is the camera movement, what the camera shots, what the background, what the foreground. Okay, so that we visualize the whole sequence. Okay, uh, so while making a storyboard, okay, so before you attempt to make a storyboard, okay, you need to know few things. Okay, first is perspective. The moment you visualize now, so everything what you are drawing is going to happen in that space. Okay, that's why we said an interior and exterior. It's an outdoor space or it's an indoor space. Okay, so first, when we are visualizing the empty frame, we define the space. Now, always when we represent a space in drawing, the perspective comes in. Okay. So it could be a 2-point perspective, it could be a 3-point perspective. Okay, it could be a 1-point perspective. So before you draw, you have to imagine what the perspective that you're drawing in. Okay, this is one. Second important decision that you have to take is the eye level. Okay, so whenever we are drawing any frames, okay, what is the eye level? Okay, from where you are looking at it. Are you looking from the top or you are looking at the bottom? Okay, so second aspect that you have to keep in mind when you are drawing storyboard is the eye level. Okay, so in the second sequence, for example, you will see this is above the eye level, this is the below the eye level. Okay, at the eye level. So first is definitely have to keep in mind is perspective. Okay, now so once in animation you have freedom to basically distort the actual perspective. Okay, so for example, how you look at the fisheye. Okay, so in the actual scenario, in the actual life, you definitely won't see this kind of perspective, but definitely we can distort the perspective in our visualization when you are doing animation. Okay, now if you look at it here, okay, look at the perspective. Definitely this is a one example, the sections. Okay, so there is a 1-point perspective, there is a 2-point perspective with the draw, and this is giving a whole idea of the space that okay in the film it's been going to use. Okay, so first point, definitely I said that it's very important that you have to decide on the perspective that you are using or the combination of perspective that you are using. Okay, and second decision is the eye level. And then the third important point is that scale that you are putting, especially in terms of the background. Okay, now if you'll see here, things are in the foreground and things are in the background. Okay, and now if you see again the extension of perspective, the things that are far looks small, the things that looks close to you looks bigger. but this gives an idea of depth in the frame itself. And these depths are, again, for example, here are 6 different levels that we have been shown in the picture. And in the correct perspective, when we are looking at it, we're actually visualizing detail about the background, what's there in the background. Okay, so these are 3 important decisions has to be taken when you are making a storyboard. Okay, so this next important aspect that you have to keep in mind is composition. Okay, framing. So what are the, how I'm going to put things in a frame that look nice? Okay, here I am showing example. Okay, it's called a rule of thirds. Okay, rule of thirds suggests that you don't keep your things important character at center. We try to keep it off center. Okay, so if you look at the example, candle is in the right side, the bottle in the left side. So second most important decision is on composition, how you are composing your elements. Okay, then third important thing that you have to know while you are making a storyboard is the type of shots, what kind of shot that you are actually visualizing. Okay, so establishing shot is the wide shot that you see everything, the character and the background. Okay, now, so we see lot of background in establishing. So when we go for full shots, okay, so definitely you see less of background and you see the character, but yet you see background and a character. Okay, then we mid shot, where you actually seeing the character. Okay, but very less of the background and more of the character. Okay, so you are seeing the head and the torso. Close up shot may, okay, what you see more of the character. Okay, now you see less of torso. Okay, so basically, if you see from establishing shot to full shot to medium shot to close shot, what's happening is actually you are going towards character, you are going close to character. Okay, now why we do that? Okay, now what are the choices that of these shots that we do? Okay, so in the storytelling, okay, so if something is happening in the background and it's very important, okay, along with the character, or even if the character is not there but background is there, okay, so we definitely go for full shots or establishing shots. Okay, but if you have to emphasize on something very important, what character is saying or want to say, or his character expressions, then you go for close shots. Okay, so based on the narrative of the character and its environment or its in spaces or character, along with the character, we make a decision of either it will be close shots. So if he's saying very important thing, or the expression of a character is very important, then actually we choose close shot. Okay, but expression is not so important. The action, the activity, what he is doing is important, then we go for full shot. Okay, so the decision is we take based on what you want to show and where the information lies. Okay, is the body movement, or is the movement in the environment, or interaction of character in environment is important. Okay, so based on that, what information that you want to give and where this information lies. Okay, is just expression, a body action, or body and the environment is required. So we choose between medium shot, close shots, and full shots. It's very important information, that decision that you have to take on based on information. Next thing that you have to know is the camera movement. Okay, the kind of camera movement that we have is a pan right, pan left, zoom in, zoom out, tilt up, tilt down, rotate. Okay, And then we have definitely dolly shots and other things. Okay, so pan right means like your frame is moving from uh, right, from left to right. Pan left is uh, your camera is moving from right to left. Okay, so in storyboard, what we give suggestions where our camera is moving from, you know, and this gives an idea of what information that going to happen uh, in visual from left to right. Okay, so camera movement is a very important decisions that you have to think. Okay, now these are the three very important aspect that you have to uh, know, and also you have to make decisions on before we make any storyboards. Okay, so again I am repeating, first thing we need to understand and define perspective, the eye level, the okay. Second, definitely the scale that you are actually using this, you know, perspective in, and with the background that you have in there. Second important aspect that you have to work on is the composition. Always you have to think about the composition, okay, in such a way that the frame look interesting without losing any information. And second, third is the shots that you are going to use. Okay, it's the full shot, the medium shot, the close shots, and the last is what the camera movement. These are the four important things that you have to think, you know, before we make storyboard. Okay, now why storyboard is very important? Okay, so as I said that in the script, no, again I will show that script. Okay, so if you look at here script, okay, you know, so in the script is showing the interior and exterior. So once what I will do before I start, once my storyboard is definitely there, ready, okay, so I can start planning my shoot. Okay, so what I will do, I will start making combinations. I'll take out all the interior shots at one place. Okay, so all the interior shots at night, especially at the bar, you know, I'll bring all shots here. Okay, so that's how it help us to plan our shots. Like, for example, if I'm setting up making sets, you know, I'll try to finish all, you know, shots in whatever the days it take, but in one go. Okay, so I know there is a night shot, I know the location, and I know what are the shots is being going to happen. Okay, so I can plan very well. Now if you'll see it, this just talks about, okay, my location and what are the shots is going to happen here. Okay, so this is good for a art director, especially a line producer who can get things for me to make the setup. Okay, but this doesn't talk about anything aesthetical, visual information, what is going to happen in a shot. This is going to talks about number of shots, the location and timing when these shots are there, but the visual information is completely missing. Okay, so then what we do, then definitely I have, especially if I'm making a feature film, definitely I have to talk to cinematographer, then I have to talk to set designers. Okay, I have to talk to costume designers, I have to talk to makeup artists. Okay, so in animation, if you are talking about, definitely you have to talk to modelers, and you have to talk to people who are doing texturing, then you have to talk to the people who are doing editing. Okay, we have the script, but how do we going to talk to them? Okay, now once you have a script, you have storyboard. Okay, now you show them in a picture. Okay, you know, and it will be easy for you to tell, or to discuss what your concept is. So, so definitely the most important aspect of story board is to when you communicate. Filmmaking is not a process that can be done in isolation. It's always a teamwork, a group of people work together. Okay, so this though you have a very nice story and script, but it won't be functional until unless you are able to communicate to your team members. Okay, so storyboards is the best, the most effective tool that through which you communicate to these team members. Okay. Okay, so the functional wise is an important tool to communicate to your team members. But when you are actually making the storyboard, okay, now it's again a process where you are visualizing and also you try to understand is effective or not. So while you are working on storyboard, you'll able to know that if your concept is working or not. Okay, what are the actions that you have put in the story is actually effective or not. Okay, also in the storyboard definitely you are giving information about the background. That's actually the prop that we are going to use in sets. Okay, so that's also given idea about that how much budget is required to execute. Okay, so if you have a less budget, definitely you can tweak things in the background. Okay, um, also in a sequence, if there is a fight sequence, if there is a chase sequence, okay, and and you visualize in certain way. So when you are actually working on the storyboard, definitely talks about, okay, some sequence are not effective and they are not working, so you can spot errors, okay, while in the script. Okay, uh, some sequence might not be working, so you can again rewrite and rework on those scenes. uh, Decision on media. Okay, so I want to do stop motion in animation, or you want to go for some other technique of doing animations, or in the film also, for example, okay, if you are working with uh, some effects. So can we go for green screen or not? How much part will be in the green screen? Okay, so executional level. Okay, we can choose it effectively. Okay, different kind of shooting methods. Okay, dialogues. Yes, the transition of one shot to another base, especially when the dialogue is happening, we can actually see that the whole sequence is interesting enough or not. Otherwise the dialogue scene most of the time becomes boring. Okay, overall, while the process is on, definitely when the storyboard is done, so you'll actually see that certain section still some of the decisions are pending and you might want to revisit again. Okay, at that point of time sometimes happen that we are not sure about, let's say that I'm not sure about the ending. I'm still, in the script we'll see, okay, you have written some ending, while storyboarding you find it, okay, so it's not actually helping you. Okay, so definitely you are still not sure that what can do in there. Okay, so you keep that, so you are aware, okay, these are the area that's still not well decided. Definitely you can rethink and you give time. Once it's done, then you can finalize those aspects. Okay, so storyboard actually works on this while you are making the storyboards. Okay, uh, it talks about where you are right now, what are the things it's required to execute, things, what are the things it still need to be thought. Okay, so this is a visualization tool, okay, that actually gives uh, 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 real reality to your thoughts. Okay, so whatever imaginations that you have, okay, so you can bring it down the paper and you can effectively see its efficiency, it's the things is working out or not. Okay, so if you look at it, I'm skipping that part. This is the traditional format. So you see frames. In the frames, you're going to draw. and what's it written in what you have shown in the frames, little description has been written in the below the frame. Okay, now this is a little more detailed. So you're writing about the scene, what scene. Okay, in the box you can write about the sound that you are adding, the dialogues that you are emphasizing on. You can write description of the camera movement. See here, it's more so scene and the short number and the description. Okay, so again, traditionally the format remained the same. You have box followed by the information about the scene that you are putting in. Okay, so whenever you are seeing this, okay, the first decision, again I'm saying that you have to think about the perspective, the eye level. That gives an idea of how you're going to put your elements and the background. And then you have to think about the composition. Third thing, you have to think about how your the shots, it's the mid shots, the wide shots, and the last is the camera movement. Okay, so if you see all these examples have these all four elements well thought of. Okay, so look at the composition, look at the eye level. This also gives an idea of the camera moving from one to another, and also it's talking about either it's a wide shot or mid shot or close-up shots. Okay, so again go through this, okay, and try to find out the perspective, try to find out the camera angle, try to find out, is this a close shot, is it a wide shot, is it establishing shots, and can you see the decisions of uh, making camera move from one to another. Okay, okay, so you could find the perspective, you could find the camera angle and the type of shot that you decided on. Okay, this is the most detailed one. It's talking about the textures also, but again you could see the perspective, you could see the at the camera at the eye level that you're using, and also the camera, okay, where you are putting the camera in the sequence. Okay. So so whenever you get a chance to make a storyboard, okay, so always these four things. I think if you are not a filmmaker, if you are not making a storyboard for film, so definitely the first two is very important that you have to always keep in mind: perspective, okay, the composition, these two will come. So, and why this? Because this will, since it's a visualization tool, some way or the other, this gives a clarity what you are thinking about and putting them in reality. Okay, so I think that's from my side. Any doubt, any question?
I think it was a fantastic session, Prem. It was very interesting. Just to put things into perspective, to really understand how films are made. And we had a few students who are like really interested in film and video,
Okay.
So it'd be great to connect them with you. There's a question from Nivedita who's asking, how do I know how many frames I need to create a storyboard, right? Is there a limit to the number of frames?
No, it's completely depend on how. So if you want to make a storyboard in great detail, definitely number of frames will be more. Okay, so for example, I have a story of 10 lines. Okay, and so I can choose, definitely I'll tell make a storyboard of 10 frames. Okay, but it will take time. for you to make this storyboard, and also a person whom you are going there and actually uh, pitching them. Okay, this is my story. So instead, for example, then what I'll do, I can show that same story in 3 frames and 4 frames. Okay, so not going by like a step by step, just like in the comics. In the comics, each frame is well detailed and showing each and every minute actions. In storyboard, we don't, and that's how the storyboard is different from the comics. So the storyboard is all just talking about the character and the background and what's happening in there. Okay, so I make decisions on the information that you are giving. So 10-line story, but while I'm giving the information, okay, so that is can be done in five frames. So I'll do 5 frames. If that can be done in 3 frames, I will do 3 frames. So its decision is based on the information that you want to give, and maybe if it needs 6 frame, then I will do 6 frame. So decision is based on the information that you want, important information that you want to convey.
All right.
And
Okay, sir.
so
Yeah.
I think in the competitive exam, that's become very difficult, because they always say that you have to, you write a story and then you show that story in 3 frames. That means then you have to actually find out the very key information. Okay, and again, story definitely will have a character and his engagement in the other character and space and environment. So all this has to come in the picture.
I think that's a very critical point and a very relevant point to all the students and parents who are attending here. Storyboarding is a very, it's an expected part of any entrance exam, right? It could be an ID, it could be an FT, but whichever entrance exam it is, storyboarding is a critical part. You can expect this, and just now what Professor Gunjan said, you need to tell that story into few frames and do it right, get the key thing. So very, very critical. Okay, any other questions from anyone?
Okay, so storyboarding, if you'll see in the reference with the exam point of view, it's actually trying to understand the observation of the students, how observant the student is. One, okay, definitely skill in the very first place, the drawing skill and understanding of 2 and 3 dimension. Okay, so that's even I'm not going inside what your story is, what you have done, just looking at your drawing, we understand, okay, what kind of skill that you have in terms of drawing and understanding of perspective. That's why design schools, they give these kind of exercises where they ask to make a storyboard. So definitely one aspect is skill, but second most important aspect is the observation, that how much you are observant about your surrounding. Very small things in the details that you add in the storyboard, that actually helps you to tell stories, but it talks about how you visualize and how you associate these elements to the character. In the storytelling, it's very obvious, the idea of montage, why it's framed, because it's sequential, and so for example, I think this might help. So this example, for example, a photograph where man is holding his head. Okay, this is a one photograph, and in the next photograph I'm putting eggs are broken. And so the meaning that people will say that the person is sad because eggs are broken. It's the same photograph, but in the sequence we'll put that a building is collapsed. So again the meaning is happening. And again the third sequence, the same photograph, person holding hand, but in the third one, we say there's a hospital and someone is in ICU. Okay. So again, the interpretation of sadness completely, what we say, changes. But interestingly, is the same photograph. You know. So the sequencing and association of one to elements in the surrounding, okay, and what you choose to put in a frame, that's very, very interesting, a frame, and that gives an insights of you as a person, how empathetic you are, okay, how observant you are, okay. So if you are imagining some scene, what are the elements they are including in the frame, okay. So that's very, very important aspect, and that's why I said that storyboarding is not defined in just making films, but whatever you do, you know, for example, even if you are making a garment, okay, so if you put things in a sequence, so basically it's storyboard actually helps you to visualize, okay, so whatever your imagination thoughts are, and when you are executing it, before execution, actually you can visualize everything in a paper, okay. And if you put in a sequence form, sequence means it's a progression, it talks about process in progression, okay. This is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3, and this actually pre-visualize every steps. I think even cooking, for example, you know, even if you want to make a Maggie, and if you want interested in making Maggie, but again, I want to do alterations in different steps. For example, I can make 5 different type of Maggies, you know, so it even in the plain Maggie. So I can, so either you just make all the, do a trial and error, but trial and error will be very expensive, you know. So we can do a storyboarding of different kind of making, you know, putting relevant details in the sequence, you know. For example, boiling them for 5 minutes, boiling them for 10 minutes, or boiling them for 30 minutes, you know. Even simple Maggie will be different in all these 3 you know. So 30 minutes will be very soggy. So I think this storyboarding allows us to experiment conceptually, and before we put them in a reality, that gives a little bit of a idea, okay, how to do or how to put them in a reality. So that's why I don't think that storyboarding is only related to filmmaking, and okay, so this is a very effective tool that can be used in any domain, and it's been used in all domains.
Yep, fantastic. I think we just have another minute or so left, but before we wrap up, so when you did your graduation in, or rather when people do their graduation specifically in film and video animation and all that, right? So what kind of jobs do they get? Say film design or film and video, right? What kind
Okay.
of jobs do they get?
Okay. See, you have to understand the industry. Okay. Now, for example, if you are doing product design, okay, so what is the nature of the industry? Definitely, there is a Godrej, there is Mindra, and all other people. Okay. So there is a job that you can go and join. So, and very interestingly, even that's not defined. For example, one of my friends, she has done textile, but she is a lead designer in Mahindra, Bombay. She's working there. Now, what her role is? Now, if you see interior of car required fabric, okay, and also in terms of the material, the quality, the texture, and the look, okay. So these people are actually working in the interiors of car, you know, taking decision. आप blatantly अगर देखेंगे तो for me, for first time when you're looking at it, textile designer, what she's doing in automobile design, you know, automotive industry, okay. So now in the film, the industry, so there are different levels. One, definitely, if you are going to in the filmmaking, okay, so they have production designs, okay, production houses, okay. Feature film is one of it. getting into feature film will take time, because even if you go them, then you have to assist a director, and you will become third assistant director, then second assistant director, and then you will become. Now in today's time, this conventional traditional method is gone off. Now you have a TVF, for example, they are group of engineers, उनके पास तो film का degree भी नहीं है. Okay, but the today's time technology has allowed you, if you are a storyteller, good storyteller, you can actually shoot, and definitely the online OTT platforms are there, you can go there. So one is definitely going as feature film. Second is ad agency. They really pay well. Okay, so you can go for the ad agency. Third industry is again TVC. They also get a lot of money, but it's become quite monotonous. Now the fourth aspects, it's again not fixed to these domains. They go for documentaries. Okay, and that's doesn't pay too much, but there's a lot of fun. You go to a lot of places, you go and meet a lot of people. Okay, so now the fifth and the most paying area, which is paying, is UX and UI. Now if you'll see, even today's time, a lot of people from product design or graphic design or from animation, all these people are working in UX and UI. Okay, so it's a choice that where you want to be in. And in terms of the job profile, if you see, ad agencies, production houses, Google, Facebook, these people also need people who can tell stories or put in some kind of narrative formats. Okay, so these are the area where you can get job profiles. UX and UI is the most important, and they are most paying off.
All right.
Gaming industry, for example, is booming up. Augmentation reality, AI, it's coming in. In if you see the Photoshop, they are starting using AI machines. So I think virtual reality and augmented reality is the next thing, that how it's going to change our viewing, film viewing experiences. So yes, so there are scope, but that depends on kind of the work that you want to do. And definitely there are freelance filmmakers. They are basically earning money from there. And this skill of editing and storytelling, now you can see a lot of YouTubers and bloggers, and they are like normal people, enthusiasts in their respective field, but definitely the shot taking and editing, and they are very famous YouTuber earning lakhs in month.
All right, Professor, I think we need to, we've exceeded our time a little bit, but thank you so much. So there's some appreciation from parents as well, who are saying they've enjoyed the session as well. Okay,
Thank you so much.
We have so there's a request for the links on resources. All right.
Okay.
Any links? So I'll ask Gopal to coordinate with you on that, and we'll share it with our parents and students. Okay.
So he has along with this handout, he has references of some books also, which the students can refer to before the exams. Yeah.
Fantastic. So Professor Prem, thank you so much. Gopal, thank you so much. It's been a brilliant session, and looking forward to a lot more sessions from Professor Gunjan and UID. Right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Bye.
Have a nice day.